Hello and welcome to the Power BI December 2021 update. In this video, we'll explore what's new this month and see some demos of the highlights. We have some exciting new updates for you in the reporting section. First, we're happy to announce the preview version of Sparklines, a very popular feature request as part of this month's update. Sparklines are small charts drawn inside the cells of tables and matrices that make it easy to compare trends quickly across a multitude of data. Sparklines are useful when showing trends in series of values like seasonal increases and decreases, economic cycles, or to highlight maximum and minimum values. To get started, right-click a measure in the Values field well of a table or matrix visual and click Add a Sparkline. Then select a field for the x-axis of the sparkline, click Create, and watch a new sparkline column appear in your visual. You can also format the sparkline in the Formatting pane. Rien will walk us through a demo of this feature.
So suppose I've got a table or a matrix displaying the sales amount of all of my products across their categories and subcategories across all of their different luxury classes. And I'm interested in knowing what is the change in sales amount over time, not just the aggregates that you see here. Well, one option is to turn this into a line chart and then turn this into a small multiples chart. But that would be a lot of different small multiples charts because I'd get one for every single category, subcategory, and class. I'd have to scroll a lot just to go through all of them. That's not really what small multiples are for, but that is what sparklines are for. So here we're going to talk about how we create a sparkline. We're going to show how to format the sparkline, and then we'll talk about some of those limitations. But first, what is a sparkline? A sparkline is a small chart that shows up in the table or matrix. It's a small line chart that shows up as its own column in the table or matrix, showing you the trend of one of the fields over some other field that you've chosen. Let's look at how to make them. I'm going to go into the values field well, select the value that I want to turn into a sparkline. Here I've chosen sales amount, and I will click the Add a Sparkline button after right-clicking that. So it'll show this pop-up menu here that lets me add a sparkline. I can choose the y-axis. It'll pre-populate that field with the value field that I've chosen, this being sales amount, and then I can pick an x-axis field to show the trend. So since I'm looking at a trend, I'm going to pick something like order date, and then I'll hit create. And now as you see, new columns have been added into my matrix, showing me the trend of sales amount over time, time being order date. If I wanted to rename this column, I could go here, rename, and say sparkline. Something boring just to show off the functionality. So that's what a sparkline is. It's a small little field that shows up in the card here. And then, maybe I want to make this bigger again just to make the trend a little bit clearer. So next, maybe I want to format this sparkline. I can go into the formatting pane in the Sparklines card here, and I can change the first option is letting me pick which sparkline. So if I had more sparklines, I would be able to pick which sparkline I'm formatting. And then underneath that, if you're familiar with the Sparklines feature in Excel, you'll see some very similar options. Where do I want to show data markers? Right now, I only show them on these isolated points. Suppose I wanted to see them on every single point. Well, now I can. Or suppose I wanted to highlight just the highest point. So I can click highest, and then I can make it, let's say, red, and say this is my highest point. I can change the marker shape, I can adjust its size, and I can change the colors of the lines. So I can format my sparklines in a variety of ways, and as we move through preview, we'll be adding more formatting features as well. I can also change the type of chart. Instead of a line chart, suppose I want a column chart. Now I can. And of course, it's a little bit more difficult to see when it's a column chart because of exactly how many columns you're going to see in the Sparkline in such a small area, but there are definitely uses for column charts as well. And that's how you format a Sparkline. There are a few things to keep in mind for Sparklines right now. The first is that the Sparklines only supports up to 5 Sparklines per visual and displays up to 52 points per Sparkline. So hopefully that's a reasonable limit. We made these limits for performance reasons, but as you can see here, Sparklines are already quite small, and introducing too much granularity won't do nearly as much when the point is to analyze broad trends. The second thing to keep in mind is that the number of columns in the matrix will be limited to 20 when Sparklines are on. So right now I have 3 or 4 columns in my matrix, and I'm not capturing my whole report canvas. I'm capturing maybe 2/3 of it here. But suppose I go to 6 or 7 columns, that's already enough to fill my whole screen. So I'm imagining that the number of columns here being limited to 20 is not too restrictive of a clause. I believe right now we support up to 50 without Sparklines on. So if we had 20 columns, you'd have to scroll a long way just to see all of the different Sparklines. And for something that's meant for quick analysis of trends, hopefully this limit is reasonable. A couple other things to keep in mind that are not supported. Older versions of AS are not supported yet, or are not supported flat out. And date hierarchies are not supported right now, but we are looking to support them in the future. So for example, right now, if I put month from my date category into the Sparkline, it would show all of the Januaries across different years aggregated as 1 month point. So it would show me 12 total points. And that's not something that we support right now to show you, January by year, month by year, or etc. But it's something that we're looking to support in the future. And that's Sparklines. So it's an awesome feature. And as I've mentioned, we'll be making some more improvements before general availability. So let us know what you think and if there's anything else you'd like to see. Thank you, and we hope to hear your feedback.
Next, we have updates for you on the preview for the new formatting pane. We've listened to your feedback regarding the extra clicks needed to find settings, and so the context menu Expand All Categories option now expands all cards and subcategories. We've also added a variety of settings and fixed numeric input truncation and incorrect red border bugs. Thank you so much for your feedback so far, and please keep sending us your thoughts on functionality and improvements you'd like to see in the new formatting pane. In the data connectivity and preparation section, we have several new and updated connectors for you this month. First, we've updated the Azure Data Explorer connector with support for authentication against log analytics, application insights, and Azure monitoring resources. Support for the folding of bitwise shift left and right operations, fixes to text, position of folding, and accepting batch requests. Next, the FHIR connector has been updated with a fix for an issue where data was not filtered when additional query parameters were appended. Next, the Dremio software connector has been updated with the ability to authenticate using Azure Active Directory in addition to the existing username and password or username and personal access token methods. Next, the BQE core connector has been updated with access to more data, including contacts, core CRM, and fund transfers. We'd also like to announce that the TIBCO data virtualization connector is now generally available. Next, the Exasol connector has been updated with the option to view native query. And lastly, the Starburst Enterprise connector has been updated to support version 2.0.0 Plus of the Starburst ODBC driver. And remember, support for the Presto ODBC driver prior to version 2.0.0 has been removed. We have several announcements for you in the service section. First, you can now access email subscriptions via the admin API. Email subscription to reports and dashboards is a popular feature that makes it easy for you to stay up to date about the data that matters most. And more importantly, we heard your feedback on supporting scenarios like PII data breach and leak magnitude assessment through subscriptions, particularly in the healthcare sector, because these scenarios typically required going through the user interface, which was cumbersome, and analyzing audit logs only went back 90 days at most. Today, we're releasing to public preview a set of admin APIs to return a list of email subscriptions that have been created in the entire tenant. So try them out and let us know what you think. To learn more about the APIs, please check out the link in the video description below. Next, you can now allow sharing links to include your changes to the report. When sharing your report, you'll find an option labeled Include My Changes, which will share the explored version of your report. You can use this setting to create a shared view of the report that includes any of the filters or changes you've made to the report within read mode. This setting includes any changes to the filters, slices, personalized visuals, cross-filtering or cross-highlighting, drill down or drill up, applied bookmarks and spotlights. To learn more about the feature, check out the documentation linked in the video description below. We are also excited to announce the public preview of hybrid tables in Power BI Premium, which also brings us a groundbreaking enhancement to incremental refresh in the form of incremental refresh augmented with real-time data. Now you can have blazing fast performance in import mode and the latest data changes in the data warehouse reflected in user reports without requiring a dataset refresh. Before this, dataset creators sometimes had to make difficult trade-offs between query performance and data freshness. Import mode delivers the best performance, yet data freshness poses challenges if new data arrives at a very high cadence. It is both resource-intensive and inefficient to import data into a dataset in very short intervals. On the other hand, direct query mode delivers data freshness, but at the expense of report performance. And because Power BI doesn't import the data, but translates the report queries into data source queries, the latest data changes are quickly picked up, but the query response round trips between Power BI and the data source take time and slow down the reports. A hybrid table helps strike a perfect balance between query performance and data freshness. It is a table with one or more import mode petitions, as well as another petition in direct query mode. If the direct query petition is relatively small, then the query response round trips will be fast, while accessing the bulk of the data is already fast in import mode. These partitions are presented to users as a single table with business definitions and calculations. Next, deployment pipelines users can now assign workspaces to all the pipeline stages. This allows maximum flexibility for Power BI creators who want to use the context they've already built and manage it through deployment pipelines. To make the experience smooth and easy, after assigning 2 workspaces, the pipeline will automatically match items between the workspaces and compare them. The matching is done based on the item type and its name. Whenever a match is found, it means that deploying the artifact from the source stage to the target stage will override and update its match. Note that this is done only upon assigning a workspace. If you want to match specific items between stages in an already assigned workspace, you will have to unassign one workspace and assign it back. Next, we have some exciting updates for you in the mobile section. First, we're happy to announce a new report default view. Most of us use our phones in portrait orientation, but Power BI reports are generally designed for viewing in landscape orientation on computer screens. As a result, when a desktop layout report is viewed on your phone, The mobile app often requires you to tilt your phone on its side to see the report in landscape orientation. With the latest update, you can now view any report page in the orientation that you choose. If the report page you're looking at doesn't have a mobile optimized layout, but you want to hold your phone in portrait orientation, you'll now see a smaller landscape preview of the report. You can always tilt your phone to landscape orientation for a closer look at the data, but if all you need is a quick look at the numbers, you can easily stay in portrait orientation and just use pinch and zoom. We've also now added hints to the items recommended for you by Power BI to help with understanding why the items were chosen as recommended content. Being able to see who opened, certified, or published an item might help with deciding on whether it's relevant to your work. We've also added support for goal-level permissions and scorecard column customizations that have been set up by the scorecard author. Goal-level permissions in Power BI enable scorecard authors to grant different levels of access to different users for specific goals. For example, some users may be permitted to add notes to a goal or to update a goal's current value, whereas other users may only be allowed to view specific goals in a scorecard. Scorecard creators can also decide which columns consumers can see, ensuring that each scorecard shows only the columns appropriate to their scenario. Next, we have a variety of updates for you in the Embedded Analytics section. First, you can now use Power BI datasets as data sources for embedding paginated reports. With Power BI Embedded Analytics, ISVs and customers can create Power BI content that displays paginated reports in a fully integrated and interactive application. They can embed paginated reports using the solution that works best for you, embed for your customers, or embed for your organization. Power BI datasets were not supported as a data source for those scenarios until now. When embedding a paginated report with a Power BI dataset as a data source for the embed or customers scenario, you will need a service principal and a multi-resource embed token containing a new parameter called XMLA permissions. When the value of this parameter is read-only, ISVs and customers can control access to XMLA endpoints. Power BI datasets with data sources requiring single sign-on will be supported in a later release. Next, we've updated the Client API to include custom themes. Power BI report themes allow you to apply design changes to an entire report, changing default color sets or icons. Developers using Power BI Embedded Analytics can also embed a report with a custom theme applied instead of the default theme for the report. Applying a theme in this way loads the same report with different themes for different users based on their settings. In addition to the Apply Theme API, we're adding the Get Theme to allow ISVs to obtain the embedded Power BI report theme and potentially apply it to their own web app. In addition, we've added two properties to the page class: the background color of the page and its transparency, as well as the wallpaper color and transparency. Next, we've made Azure Power BI embedded A7 and A8 capacity nodes self-service. A7 is like a P4 capacity node carrying 64 vCores and 200 GB of RAM. A8 is like a P5 capacity node carrying 128 cores and 400 GB of RAM. Both capacity nodes were previously purchasable by special request only, but now we've enabled their purchase in self-service, either through the Azure portal or by using an ARM API. We've also updated the Developer in a Day online course. This course empowers app developers with the technical knowledge required to embed Power BI content. The course has been updated to include all of the new features, And we highly recommend our developers watch the updated videos in the recorded sequence, starting with video 1 all the way through and ending with video 21. For more information, please check out the link in the video description below. Next, in the Developers section, with the new 4.1 API, you can now fetch custom matrix data on Expand Collapse in a similar way to the native matrix. Data will be fetched on demand and therefore optimize the performance of your own matrix. Next up, we have some exciting updates to share with you in the Visualization section. First, new visuals available for you on AppSource this month are the Data Map visual by dtype, the Process Champion visual by Argent Logic, the Ultimate Upset Plot by Samuel Greatzel, the Leaplytics Traffic Light visual by Leaplytics GmbH, the Deneb Declarative Visualization visual by Daniel Marsh-Patrick, the InfoRiver Standard Matrix and Table by Lumel, the Icon Pack by TME AG, and the HTML and CSS Viewer by K-Team Solutions GmbH. Updated visuals include the Shielded HTML Viewer by Nova Silver, Graphomate Charts, the Zebra BI Cards visual by Zebra BI, the PMBI Process Mining visual by Process M, the Drill Down Combo Bar Pro visual by Zoom Charts, the Paginated Report visual, and the Charticulator visual. You can find all of these visuals on AppSource. For more information, please check out the links in the video description below. Next up, we recently announced a new way to visualize your model-driven Power Apps and Dynamics 365 data stored within Dataverse. With just one click, Power BI automatically generates a set of visuals to explore and use to find insights from within your data. This integration is a great way to take advantage of the Power Platform and is also the latest extension of the Quick Create experience we've shipped in the service before. Amanda will show us a demo of this feature.
Our new integration in model-driven Power Apps in Dynamics 365 is a very quick and easy way to visualize your data stored within Dataverse. With a single click, a set of visuals will be automatically generated for you to start exploring. To get started, you'll look at any of the grid views within your app and click the Visualize this View button in the app bar. This will start a process where we create a model on the fly based off of the data you are looking at within the grid. And then based off of that data, we'll generate a set of visuals for you and lay them out neatly on the page. This is the latest extension of our Quick Create experience that we've already shipped within the Power BI service and SharePoint and Microsoft list. So this whole flow should feel very familiar to you if you've used either of those experiences before. Once the report is generated, you can start exploring like any normal Power BI report. Things like cross-highlighting to start digging in deeper into your data. You can also use the filter pane to filter individual visuals. And then of course, changing the report is easy as well. By checking and unchecking fields in the Your Data pane on the right, you'll be able to update what fields are being used to generate the report. You'll see here that the visual on the left was updated to show the discounts field that I selected in addition to the units sold field that Power BI has selected automatically. And then on the right half of the page, the bottom right visual was updated to show discounts by country. And then once the report is generally showing the field you're most interested in, you can use the Personalize this visual option to make more refined edits to it. So you can do things like change the chart type to any of the available charts we have, change what fields are being used on, say, the axis, or also do things like change the aggregation type. So you can really start going in there and refining it down to exactly the type of insights you want to see. You can also quickly see the data that was used to generate this report by using the Show Data Table option. This will update the report to show the actual rows of data from Dataverse right at the bottom. And then you can also do things like cross-siloing to filter this specific table as well, so that if you're interested in seeing the full rows of data from Dataverse, you can get down to the exact rows that you're interested in really easily here. Another great aspect of this report is that, as I mentioned earlier, it's based on the exact data you are looking at in the grid. So if I close this view and then filter this grid down, let's say to the product to Amarilla, and discount band low, you'll see here that I'm down to just 14 rows of data. And then I relaunch this quick creation experience. The new report that's being generated is being based off of just those 14 rows. As you can see here, all the rows of data that came in from Dataverse are just Amarilla and low discount band. Just a couple more things to note. First, currently the report that's generated within this app is really designed for personal exploration. So you can see all the features I showed, the cross-highlighting, the easy, quick modifications to it, are all meant to make it really easy for you to explore your data. But for now, it is, like I said, just for personal exploration and therefore also temporary. So it can't currently be shared or saved anywhere, and it will eventually time out after a certain amount of time, currently around 1 hour. In future updates, we do plan to improve both the timeout duration and also add new functionality to support saving it within a Power BI workspace if you do want to retain it. The second thing to note is that this feature is currently a preview feature within Power Apps, so you will need to enable it through the Power Apps Maker portal for that button that I showed earlier to show within your grids. So make sure to try this integration out, as it's a really great way to take advantage of the full power of the Power platform and should make it a lot easier for you to explore your Dataverse data.
And lastly, stick around for the rest of the video to learn about a great benefit of our new user group platform. And remember, whether you're new to Power BI or an experienced user, we invite you to join us at community.powerbi.com, where you can learn more about Power BI and connect with our vibrant Power BI community members like MVPs and super users. You can have your questions answered, post your exciting data story examples in the Data Stories gallery, watch free content within our webinar and video gallery, or better still, why not join us and help a community member learn more about Power BI by answering a question on one of the many forum topics. Answering questions always helps encourage others learn more about Power BI. We're definitely better together. And if helping others learn or learning from others is something that you love to do just like we do, check out our free community platform at aka.ms/PowerBIUG. So go ahead, join a user group, help a user group leader in your area, or even become a user group leader. User group leaders have a couple of exciting free benefits we provide. In addition to the free community user group platform, we provide a more collaborative experience to support you with managing, hosting, and running your user group calls with a free user group Teams environment. The second benefit is connecting user group leaders with local Microsoft resources to help you with some user group activities you might have. There are so many benefits for user groups hosted on the Microsoft User Group platform. To learn more, go to aka.ms/PowerBIUG. As you can see, there's definitely something for everyone in the Power BI community. And that's all we have for this month. As always, we hope you enjoyed the updates, and please keep sending us your feedback on what you'd like to see in upcoming releases. On behalf of the entire Power BI team, we hope you have a safe holiday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll meet you again in the community.